What's up, Lazy Dog fam? Hope everybody out there is having a stellar day. Do you know what time it is?
It's tater time. It's tater time.
That's right, it's tater time. I've got one row of taters in here I want to dig before we get some rain tomorrow and the next day. So when we planted these, we planted them in the order of the listed maturity date. So these red ones are what they call early season potatoes. We got some mid-season potatoes in the middle, late season potatoes on the end. And we were expecting to dig these first and then work our way along this way. But it's not what's happened so far. The red ones are showing a little bit of dieback. The red New Orleans are, but not enough to where I want to dig them yet. But if we go over here, these guys here, which are supposed to be a mid-season or maybe even a late season variety, these French fingerlings are starting to die back pretty significantly. And so I want to go ahead and get those out of the ground. So we want to start digging our potatoes when the plants start dying back. But dying back how much? Well, for me, that just kind of depends on the weather forecast. If they're dying back fairly significantly and we're about to get a lot of rain, I like to go ahead and dig them. I don't want wet potatoes that are ready to dig sitting in the ground. If it's relatively dry, sometimes I'll let them wilt all the way to the ground. So it just depends for me on the weather forecast. That may not be scientifically proven, but that's just the way we do it around here. So if I'm going to get rain and the plants are dying, I'll go ahead and dig them. If it's dry, we'll leave them there for a little bit. Okay guys, look, so we're just going to dig this row right here. Just these. We're not going to dig the rest of them. They're not ready. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull up these plants, but we don't want to leave these plants in the garden because that can make some diseases for future years. So we're going to pull up these plants and we're going to throw the plants out here in the grass and we'll put the potatoes in the bucket. Get the bucket, Tata.
Oh, Dad, look at this one. What are these?
Oh, there we go, Bubby. Look, those are good ones there. Yeah, I'm gonna pull the plants up and y'all dig, okay? We got some nice soft dirt here. We don't have to use a shovel or a fork.
Hey, how can I pull up the plant?
You can try. You got it?
Whoa, Daddy, Chewy, look at this.
Chewy, look at that. Oh, there's some good ones.
Oh, here's a good one. Look at this one. No, that's a good one, Dad. Oh, Dad, you missed one.
No, I did. Oh, there's another one. Let's make sure we got them all. Oh, and this one. This one right there. Look, Bubby. See, that's the piece of potato we planted right there. It's still there.
Wait, this bucket's almost full. It's halfway full.
You think we're gonna fill it up?
Daddy, look at this.
Whoa.
Whoa, Dad, look at this.
I don't know if we're gonna fill up our bucket or not.
I think we are. I think it'll overflow.
Here, give me that, Tata. Oh, that's a good one.
Look out, this one is a big one. Guys, let me show you the big bowl. Daddy, look at the bucket. Whoa. Someone's gonna carry this. It's super strong.
You can't carry it?
No, it's too heavy.
It's too heavy? Okay, let's all carry it. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Daddy.
So we planted 5 pounds of seed potatoes. How many pounds did we end up with?
5.
No, there's more than 5. How many pounds do you think there are there, Bubby?
10.
10? Why do you say we, let's go get the scale and weigh them and see how many we got. You want to do that?
No, 100.
Oh, 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go see. How'd your face get so dirty?
It's because I'm about to dig in.
First, we need to weigh our bucket. See how much it weighs. So, if we put the bucket on there, it says 0.0 pounds.
Is that a lot?
I guess our bucket doesn't really matter. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
See how much the potatoes weigh. 35 pounds. Wow, so we planted 5 pounds of potatoes and we got 35 pounds. So in case you're wondering what the return on investment is for seed potatoes, at least for this French fingerling variety, it was 7 times. So 5 pounds of seed potatoes cut up, obviously, was enough to plant a 30-foot row, and we harvested 35 pounds off that. Now, as we dig these other varieties, I'll keep up with our weights on those as well, and we'll see which potato kind of gives the biggest bang for the buck or the most weight yield per 5 pounds of seed potatoes planted. I planted 5 pounds of seed potatoes for every single row there. That's about how much I use. So they won't do this on one whole video, but as we film videos, as we dig these potatoes, we'll be sure to let you know what the yield per row was for each of those varieties. And then for storage, we're just gonna put them in here on this rack. I showed you guys this when we harvest our onions. I doubt that bottom shelf there is gonna be enough to hold all the taters we got out there in the garden. So I may have to do something with some of these butternut squash here. They're just storing forever, or move some things around. I don't think that's gonna be enough room, but it'll at least be enough room for this bucket. So we'll just spread them out right here. I don't care if they're touching, I just don't want them stacked on top of one another. So I'll just dump them like this. And get my bucket out. And then we'll just kind of spread them out so they're not stacked on top of one another. Just like that right there. And we can see just those French fingerlings took up 1/4 of this bottom shelf here. So we're definitely gonna need more than one shelf because we still got 6 or 7 more rows of potatoes to harvest. We'll eat a lot of these and give some away. These French fingerlings don't make the biggest potato, but they are really, really tasty. One of my favorite varieties to eat. So we got some big ones in there, got some little ones we can roast whole. These are one of my favorite roasting potatoes. We just put these in the air fryer. About 15-20 minutes, a little olive oil, garlic, salt, and they are good to go. All right, day 2 of this vlog. We got a good shower earlier today, and I imagine that means we need to pick some squash, and we might even have some cucumbers to pick. This old sorry rain gauge right here ain't really good for nothing except if you can't see real well. It's not very accurate, but I know it's usually about a 1/4 inch off or more. So that's saying we got over 1 inch. I imagine it was probably closer to 1.5 inches. Stella, what you got?
A rat.
A rat?
Yeah. What if I grab it and bite it? He's dead.
I don't think Stella killed that rat. I think the cats killed that rat. Stella, did you do that? Maybe. And looky here, what a fella brought me today. Some new fertilizer to try. Some 855 from Nature Safe here. See what it's got in it. Meat meal, bone meal, feather meal, blood meal, and sulfate of potash. So this is gonna be some good pre-plant and some good side dressing fertilizer. It's pelleted just like that 1300 we use. And hopefully on one of the vlogs next week, I'll have my buddy from Nature Safe on and he can tell you all about this stuff. And just as I suspected, we got squash that needs picking. I usually pick these every other day, but when it rains like it did today, these things swell up quick. Got some in here that are almost trying to get too big on us. Like that guy right there. You gonna help Daddy pick squash?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, you got that one? That's a good one. Here.
Thank you.
We're gonna have so many squash. We're gonna have to go give away some squash.
I get a big one.
So early impressions on this Delta squash semi-crookneck variety. It's pretty good. Pretty productive variety. Liking it so far. Don't know that it's quite as productive as something like Gold Prize, but they're pretty dang productive and pretty tasty as well. Now these little griller zucchini here, this grenade variety, pretty productive too. I like them. The only thing I don't like is they're kind of hard to pick. If you just yank them off like a normal zucchini or twist them, the top of them ends up being all boogered up. So you about got to come in here with a knife and cut these things off, because that stem pulls off these pretty easy. But if you cut them, they tend to do a lot better. And as far as these green zucchini go, this is a variety called Spineless Beauty. I've grown it before. I really like it. Like it better. Seems to produce better than similar variety called Spineless Supreme. And
when you hear about spineless zucchini, all that means is that these stems here don't have a lot of spines on them, which means the fruit don't get as tore up, or your arms don't get as tore up when you're reaching in there picking it. Now this patty pan squash here, these are pretty productive and they taste really good. They look nothing like what I thought I was planting. I planted a variety called Partial Eclipse that looked like this, and you can see these guys don't look anything like that. There's no stripes or anything. These look like a Benning's green tint patty pan. Not a big deal though, all patty pans kind of taste the same. They're making a ton, which is good. Just don't look like what they thought, or what we thought they were going to look like. And now to check the cucumbers. So with the exception of the Max Pack Pickler and that Supremo that we're going to be trying soon, most of the cucumbers we grow are what they call gynoecious cucumbers, and so they make all predominantly female flowers and get a lot more production that way. See all those yellow flowers in there, those are all female flowers. And we've got a pickler and a slicer in here. Looks like we've got one pickler there ready to go. Yep, that's perfect size right there. Go ahead and grab that guy. That'll be a good little snack to have right there once we wrench it off. If we go on the back side of the trellis here, take a look at these slicers. I see lots of them in there getting ready. There's 1, 2, 3. Those are pretty small. That's not necessarily ideal picking size, but with all that moisture in the ground, I believe I may go ahead and get some of these guys, because I don't think I'm gonna be able to get out here and pick them tomorrow or maybe the next day, so they'll be too big by then. So we'll go ahead and get what we can find as far as those small ones go. So I was able to get a pretty good little mess there of picklers and baby slicers. This guy right here, that must have been the first one to set fruit. It's almost too big, but I think we can still eat that. They get a little bigger than that, then as you give them to the neighbors, let them feed their chickens or whatever. Anyway, there's the baby slicers. That is a variety called Bristol, I believe. And then these picklers here look like they're going to be really, really productive. It's a variety called Expedition. The only thing I noticed about them, they're really, really spiny. So when we wash them off, we'll make sure to kind of knock some of those off, because I don't like to peel cucumbers before I eat them. So we'll kind of brush those spines off. But super productive so far. And then we even found on the very end a couple of those little gherkin cucumbers are already producing. We might pick them or start picking them a little smaller than that, but so they're the smallest. Then we have the other where are they at? Right here, the Bristol picklers, and excuse me, the Expedition picklers, and then the Bristol slicers right there. And I wasn't planning on harvesting any cauliflower today, but looky there. Who'd have thunk it? Cauliflower in May, mid-May, in South Georgia. I believe some of these heads are big enough to go ahead and get. Now these heads aren't massive, but I believe they'll work. And with this crazy weather, I'd rather go ahead and get them when they're still good like this and wait and let the heat zap them. That's not bad right there. Not bad at all. Gonna have to wash that off, but not bad at all. So I got the 3 biggest heads out of there, and we'll leave the rest of them to grow. We'll take a chance on those. And I was just coming out here to pick squash, but now I believe I want to go ahead and fill this bucket up. While we're right here, let's go ahead and get a few of these cabbages. Now all these in this row, although they're all a little different size, they all look pretty much ready. And so we'll probably be doing a mass harvest on these next week. But I'm gonna go ahead and get a couple of these bigger ones here. Looks like worms been eating on these, something or other. Well, that green stuff is there. But pretty good little head of cabbage right there. Not bad at all. These heads are supposed to be flattened. I can see they're kind of slightly flattened. Not as flat as I thought they were going to be, but they're a little flatter than a standard round head of cabbage there. It's what they call tropical style cabbage. And now we got our bucket full. That cabbage there that I found on down the road a little bit, that's a grown, you know what, cabbage there. That's a big one. That's what I like to see. But we don't always get them that big. But it's nice to find one every now and then. And I believe I might have finished right in time. You see that over there? That looks fairly ominous. So might be about to get wet again. Whew, it's a heavy bucket of groceries right here. I believe this weighs close to 50 pounds. A lot of good groceries in there, and I got to get this inside, get it washed off in the fridge before I get wet. Back to the potatoes real quick. Let me know if you've ever weighed your potato harvest and compared it to how many pounds of seed potatoes you planted. So with those French fingerlings, we got about a 7-to-1 ratio. Planted 5 pounds of seed potatoes, got 35 pounds of harvest. I imagine we'll do better than that on some of those bigger varieties, the Yukons, some of those. But let me know what you found that you get. I would like to see closer to 10-to-1 return on my seed potatoes. We'll just see what we get with those other rows. We'll be sure to keep you updated. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, ring the bell, like, and share, and we'll see you next time right here at Lazy Dog Farm.
Oh, farewell, by the beauty of your life.